Hey, what's up, STFM subscribers and viewers? Guess what time it is again?
Bam! 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 Woo! Bam!
That's right, it's BAM time once again. And silver is hitting close to $32 an ounce, and gold is back up where it should be, near $1,700 an ounce. And all this because of Mr. Ben Bernanke. So, general markets are also rallying in the news. Where there's easy money, definitely everything rallies because a devalued dollar makes everything look much more nice and much more expensive, right? So let's take a look at the groupings. The financials are definitely leading the way once again, and that's a good thing, right? Because if the financials lead the 1 month, 3 month, and recently, that just means the markets will follow, as I said in the past. So we'll see if that continues. As long as Ben continues with the many hints of QE3 until he finally pulls the trigger officially, if he ever will admit to it. But we all know it's already happening in the background. So the news headlines, of course, shares your rise after Bernanke's speech. Bernanke says bond buying an option to cut unemployment. And finally, Ben Bernanke says Fed ready to act. So there you go. News everywhere. And the precious metals definitely rally. But not so fast, right? Will Ben Bernanke continue his position? There's a lot of rumors that when Romney, if and when Romney wins, beats Obama, right? Doesn't really matter because the real guy running the show is Bernanke and his masters, right? The Federal Reserve, central banks are really running the show. And the president's just a big sideshow in front of him. Anyway, will Romney fire Bernanke? Maybe. But just a few years ago, Romney did defend Bernanke's actions. And even Romney's economic advisor, what's his name, Hubbard, is saying, you know what, Bernanke really deserves another round, another term of since he's doing such a great job devaluing the US dollar. And I'm looking at it a bit more and considering a few things here and there, and maybe he's right? Maybe he is good for the markets. Well, depending if you're in silver, gold, and other hard assets, maybe that is true. So let's take a look at when did Ben Bernanke take office. So let's take a look. Say he took office in 2006, right? Let's get the end of year price of silver in 2006, and it was about $15. So if you look at it, yeah, he more than doubled silver for us. So yeah, Bernanke's doing a great job for silver. Doubled. Let's look at gold. So end of year price 2006 when he took office. Chairman, Federal Reserve, private institution. So gold was about high of $655. Now it's $1,000 more later. $1694, knocking on $1,700. So was he really good for gold? Yes, good for gold as well. I looked at the S&P 500. It's just barely break even. But if you're playing the Nasdaq, let's see, was he good for the Nasdaq as well? So if you're playing the Nasdaq, he was somewhat good for Nasdaq. It was 24.26 end of year, 24.70. Now it's about 30.66. So it's almost 1,000 points higher than 2006, right? So yeah, he's good for the Nasdaq. So his track record so far has been good for the markets. Well, the Nasdaq and precious metals, right? Hard commodities. So that's why I'm proposing Bernanke 2012. Consider him for another term. Who cares about the presidency? That doesn't really matter. It's Bernanke that's really running the show in the background. So definitely Bernanke 2012. Let's take a quick look at silver. So silver is in trouble for a while, but we did break out a couple weeks ago. Went on this bam 5-day and 6-day of upward movement with lots of volume. So I was a bit worried today if Jackson Hole speech from Bernanke was going to be negative, we could have fallen back down to maybe 29, 28 down here. But it was a positive sign, so the shorts got slaughtered and the bulls took over with large volume here. And we are definitely in bullish territory, as I said in my last video. Anything above this 30.25, definitely bullish. And we're already knocking on the door of 32, but use caution. What Ben giveth, he could take it away with the simple word of saying, I was just kidding around, no QE3. We don't need it. So the markets could definitely flip-flop real quickly just by that one statement. So if you're trading the paper, use tight stops at about 30. But if you're just buying physical, just keep stacking on any dip that you see, because under $30 was definitely a gift, but now we're reaching 32. I can just see us dipping every once in a while, but I think the bull run should continue until something changes economically or politically. Same thing for gold. Gold is looking good as well. We broke out of this downtrend, the upper trend line here, the downtrend. We were finding it as support, and recently we've broken over this 1680 area that was previous upper pivot resistance, and we're looking now, knocking at the door of 1700. But yeah, if you're trading paper again, make sure you put a type stop around 1650, just in case Bernanke has a double personality and changes his mind. But the volume of gold is definitely looking good, so keep stacking on the dips. But let's take a look at the Bernanke Doctrine. Is he following his doctrine, and will he continue to do as he proposed in this doctrine? Let's take a quick look at it. So Bernanke Doctrine states he will increase the money supply in one of them too. It's like checking accounts, money at the bank. Will that continue to increase? Yep. He's increasing the money supply to the banks. Yep. Check. Is he going to ensure liquidity in the way to financial systems for a variety of measures? Yep. He's ensuring that there's plenty of credit available to all the banks that need the cash at near 0%, right? I think the next one's related. Lower interest rates all the way down to 0% is about, I think it's 0.25, a quarter of a percent. Any lower, he'll be paying people to borrow money. Control the yield on corporate bonds and other privately issued securities. Usually the Fed is not supposed to do this directly, but they definitely can manipulate or influence corporate bonds, like PIMCO, for example. That's already been done in the background. Depreciate the US dollar. Yep, it's been happening for almost 100 years, so it's been down about 97% from its original established value, paper value that is. Last but not least, execute a de facto depreciation by buying foreign currencies on a massive scale. So let's see what that really means. Are we really buying, foreign currency? I believe we are. And we've been buying the euro, right? America's central bank, the Federal Reserve, is engaged in a bailout of European banks. Surprisingly, its operation largely unnoticed here. Yep. The Fed is using what is termed temporary US dollar liquidity swap arrangement with the European Central Bank, ECB. There are similar arrangements with the central banks of Canada, England, Switzerland, and Japan. Simply put, Fed trades or swaps dollars for euros. Fed is compensated by payment of an interest rate, currently 50 basis points or 1/2 of 1%. So definitely the Bernanke Doctrine is in full effect. Believe it or not. That's why I say Bernanke 2012, man. Good for silver and gold. Make sure the printing continues. Dollar destruction is on its way. Oh, let me just show you one more thing. Let's take a look at the US dollar. Right, I'll show that. So an interesting thing here, if we zoom out, let's take a look at the weekly first. We know that we topped out 88.9, we bottomed out at 72.86, and we've been recently following this trend, upward trend line until we reach this temporary top, or it could be more of the top for now. But something to note here is recently we breached support line ever so briefly, and it's no mystery why that ended there, because that's a support line. We did breach it back down to 81, so that's a good sign. So if we do continue this downward trend on the US dollar, the markets, Nasdaq, S&P, and precious metals should continue to rise. So we shall see. One more thing on the slide deck. I was recently fishing with my buddy. I don't know why this is there. But he has a boat, and I was planning to bury some of my precious metals in Catalina Island, but I accidentally dropped this bag of silver eagles and other miscellaneous 90% silver coins. So if you find it somewhere in between here in Catalina Island in the ocean, I'll give you a 5% finder's fee. I don't know what this de facto deal is saying on it, but you won't find it. You'll definitely see my STFM Mo money on it. If you do find it, please let me know. Send me a PM. By the way, have a great 3-day weekend with the family. Make the most out of life. Enjoy every day. Silver Trader FM. I'm out for now. Take care, guys. Keep stacking.